The internet is a wonderful source for inspiration, and of course, the Beads, Baubles and Jewels website is a first stop. But today we introduce a new artist to our Beads, Baubles and Jewels audience with blogger Andrew Thornton. Welcome, Andrew.
Hi, Katie.
So glad you're here. Good. It's great to have you.
Nice to be here.
Thanks for coming in. I know everybody's going to be so excited to hear your story about the journey of artist to jewelry maker extraordinaire.
Well, I got my start going to school in New York City. I went to the School of Visual Arts. I studied painting and mixed media, and
I can see your pieces here. These are extraordinary.
Great. Thanks.
You're welcome.
So this one is more like the work that I used to do.
The painting?
Mm-hmm. And so...
Did you always do figural? Well, you said you started in painting, but these are all very sculptural works.
Yeah, and originally I did more work with geometric shapes and organic abstract expressionism. But as I moved into jewelry, it became more about the hand and about the body and adornment.
It looks like you have some accessories on this lovely lady here.
Oh yeah, and it's I try to translate the things like in this piece, and sticking true to my training in fine arts is like learning about color and shape and using that in a jewelry application.
These are beautiful pieces, and
thanks.
your color choices are always gorgeous. Tell me a little bit about the natural materials necklace over there. Okay,
well, in the Philippines there was a typhoon, and we wanted to do something to raise money and awareness for the relief effort. And all of these materials are from the Philippines, and these are rattan beads that are coated with resin, and there's actually horn and some different natural materials from there. So.
Those are so beautiful, and it's a really simple pattern, and it has a great story behind it too.
Thanks. I feel like it's important to find materials that you can add a story to your pieces.
Definitely. Is there a story behind this necklace here? I love the way that these colors are layered together.
Well, actually, I recently moved to Pennsylvania, and it was...
Oh, it must be fall.
Yeah, you know it, leaf peeping season. So this is definitely inspired by the beautiful leaves there, and which is kind of how the Allegory Gallery started. We moved to rural Pennsylvania, and the opportunity presented itself, and it was a natural way for me to marry the fine art with the jewelry. So now we sell beads, artwork, and... So
you've grown it all into a multifaceted business, because you also publish your work.
Oh, definitely. I think that if you're an artist or a creative person, you have to do a lot of different things. You have to wear a lot of different hats to, you know, survive in this very difficult industry. So you have to find the things that you're passionate about and really promote them.
Definitely. Can we talk a little bit about these figures right here? Because to me, I want to put a hole in here so I can put this on a necklace.
And one day you will.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because they're the masters, and I wanted to show different stages of process. So these are definitely all works in process. This is a finished piece, but what's going to happen with these guys is I'm going to cast them and
in metal?
Probably not, because they'd be a little bit chunky, but probably with a resin that's a really hard resin.
When you're working on something like this, do you create a sketch first?
Sometimes, and then sometimes I just work with the clay and see how it feels, and it kind of, whatever happens, happens.
The artistic magic process?
Well, it's a little bit, but it's a lot more work. I feel like you have to stay creative and do creative things, which leads me back to blogging. It's really creative regimen for me to say, well, I'm going to post at least once a week and stick to that schedule, and give me a way to challenge myself. So I feel like when you're an artist, you have to be artistic every day, and if you are, you don't get writer's block because it just naturally flows. And I feel like also it's like being an athlete. Like an athlete doesn't just you know, throw a ball across the field and it's like magical. They work at it really hard. You know, they work out, they condition their body, and doing artwork and making jewelry. You know, I am always busy. I always have a project, and
yeah. Well, I know that I remember when you got started, you started submitting projects to magazines.
Oh yeah.
And entering design contests. Do you have other advice for people who want to start kind of turning their hobby into more of a serious business?
Well, I can't stress how important blogging has been for me in my journey. And how I got into the magazine industry was that I had made things and I'd put them on the blog and there was a response. And I think when you're an artist, sometimes you're in your studio and you're working alone, and it's sometimes, you know, you're your own worst critic. But when you put it out there, it generates feedback. And I think that that's a great way when you're doing magazines is to start blogging, and then the next step is to start publishing. And it's a great way of meeting other people, like I've met you through this.
That's right.
And then it just naturally grows.
I think you're right. And I find if I blog at least once a week, then I'm doing really well. I mean, that's my goal.
Yeah.
I know I should do it every day, but if I can get it in there once a week, you know, that's really what I'm looking for. I also find that giveaways are helpful.
Oh,
what
yeah.
have you found that's been really successful for getting more followers on your blog?
Well, first I want to say that everybody's schedule is different. So you work once a week, some people work every day, some people once a month, once a year. But as long as you know and you set goals for yourself. But to generate an audience is really develop content. If you don't develop strong content, they will come to your blog because of the giveaway and they'll just visit it once. But if you consistently generate interest and give what you're talking about meaning and stories and give it some teeth, you know.
Right, something to learn even, you know, something inspiring. And kind of the personal story behind what you've created.
Well, I think, and it doesn't always have to be success stories. I feel like,
right.
You know,
the unsuccess stories are actually really helpful.
Yeah, because there's millions of people who are in the same boat. They're all trying to learn and do things. So if you are as honest, and I can't stress that enough, honesty in what you're presenting and, you know, being truthful. You know, in my blog, I try to show the highs and lows of an artist. So it's not just like, oh, I won this award and I did this and, oh, you know, it's everything.
It's about the whole process.